Um, One other thing that I want to talk about here. Now, I know I was critical uh, some time ago when it was announced that Carlos Beltran was going into the Hall of Fame. I understand that, and I get that. Um, Now, say what you will. I personally have my own feelings about it, and I'm not going to rehash it here. There is a video on the YouTube channel if you go back and check it, where I basically make an argument for everybody else who didn't get in the Hall of Fame because say what you will about other guys, right? But scandal is scandal. Wronging the game is wronging the game. Um, you know, Guys like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Shoeless Joe Jackson, Pete Rose, they're not getting in the Hall of Fame and they've done their dirt. Carlos Beltran did dirt and he's going in the Hall, whatever. Nonetheless, the man is going into the Hall of Fame and he is choosing to wear a Mets hat in the Hall of Fame. Um, so that brings us to this. On September 19th, before the Mets game that day, Carlos Beltran is going to be inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. Now, of course, the Mets Hall of Fame celebrates what you do as a New York Met. There are plenty of guys in the Mets Hall of Fame who are not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And then there are guys in the Mets Hall of Fame who are in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but they're wearing a different hat on their plaque in the Hall of Fame. Nothing wrong with that. Some guys like Willie Mays. Willie Mays played one season in Queens. Nobody's going to expect Willie Mays to put on a Mets hat on the plaque. God bless his soul. Rest in peace. But he did have his number retired by the Mets organization, and rightfully so because um, that that was a promise made to him by the owner of the Mets at the time, Miss Joan Payson, who told Willie Mays, "You sign here and play here. We'll make sure one day that your number 24 does get retired." Steve Cohen and family fulfilled that promise back in 2021. I was in attendance for that. So, so I understand it. Guys like Gary Carter won a World Series with the Mets, decided to go into the Hall of Fame as a Montreal Expo. For what it's worth, he had more seasons of his career and better seasons of his career in Montreal than he did with the Mets. I can't get mad at that. So there are only two other Hall of Famers. Well, actually, three if you count a manager. But there are three Hall of Famers: Tom Seaver, Mike Piazza, and Gil Hodges, who all have their number retired and are all in the Hall of Fame, wearing a Mets hat on the plaque. Seaver and Piazza as players, Hodges as a manager. So if all three of those guys are in the Hall of Fame and they have their number retired by the Mets, then it's only right that the fourth ever. Now, this is crazy because the Mets have been an organization since 1962, but it's crazy. Well, not crazy, but it's only fitting that only the fourth person to go into the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, as a New York Met, gets their number retired by the Mets. Just like Seaver went in the Hall, got his number retired. Piazza went in the Hall, got his number retired. Hodges goes in the Hall posthumously, gets his number retired. So it's only fitting that they do it for Beltran. Does he deserve his number to be retired? Let's take a look. Here's Carlos Beltran's career numbers as a Met: 280 average, 149 home runs, 559 RBIs, 100 stolen bases, and a .869 ERA with his number to be retired on September 19th. Beltran played 5.5 seasons for the Mets from 2005 to 2011. He was later He was later traded at the trade deadline in 2011 to the San Francisco Giants. So 5.5 seasons as a Met. What did he do in that 5.5 season span, you may ask? Well, he was an all-star 4 times. Actually, no, he was an all-star 5 times. 2007, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2009, and 2011. Because the trade deadline comes after the all-star break. So 5 selections as an all-star for Carlos Beltran. Then he was a 3-time Gold Glover as a Met from 2006 to 2008. He won the Gold Glove every single season. He was a 2-time Silver Slugger in 2006 and 7, both as a Met. So, yeah. So Carlos Beltran, a 5-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glover, and 2-time Silver Slugger while a Met. 280 average, which is not bad. Again, anything closer to 300, I'll take it. 149 homers, 559 RBIs, 100 stolen bases in 5.5 seasons, and an OPS of .869. Say what you will about Carlos Beltran, and you know he he say what you will. Yeah, he was part of the scandal, but he participated in that scandal as a member of the Houston Astros. Granted, do I think he should go in the Hall? Not really, if you're not going to make an exception for Bonds, Clemens, Shoeless Joe, and Pete Rose. But at the same time, he is going in the Hall. And if Piazza, Seaver, and Hodges can go in the Hall and have their number retired by the Mets after they've gone in the Hall, then if Beltran is going in the Hall wearing a Mets hat, retire his number too. You might as well. I mean, the Hall of Fame, after all, the Hall of Fame is the highest honor a player can earn in their lifetime. Forget the Gold Gloves, the MVPs, the All-Star selections, the Silver Slugger, um, Rookie of the Years. I mean, your peers and colleagues and people that evaluate you have deemed you one of the greatest players of all time. And if one of the greatest players of all time says, you know what, I'm a New York Met. And mind you, he's only the 4th Met ever to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Because again, guys like Gary Carter, Montreal Expo, Nolan Ryan went in as a Texas Ranger. So there are guys who've played for the Mets and wore different hats. Jeff Kent's going in the Hall this year. He's still undecided on what hat he wants to wear, but wouldn't surprise me if he went San Francisco Giants. I doubt he wears a Met hat. But Beltran's going in the Hall. He decided to go in the Hall of Met. It'll be only the 4th person ever after Seaver, Piazza, Hodges. So let's just follow the criteria. His numbers in 5.5 seasons are not bad. For 5.5 seasons to hit 280. 5.5 seasons, 5 full seasons, 30 homers, that's 150. So he was a decent power hitter for his tenure. 559 RBIs. If you do the math, 5.5, yeah, that's 5.5 seasons worth at 100 RBIs a season. Can't argue the numbers, folks. So, Carlos Beltran going in the Hall, well, the Mets Hall, September 19th. I will be there in person to see it. Of course, we'll bring it to you as a special presentation here on the YouTube channel.